Let's get into it here, and we're going to start with Alabama. So, for Alabama, what do they have to do this year for us to feel like they had a successful season? I'm going to start with this. They've never missed the playoff 2 years in a row, and Kalen DeBoer does not want that on his record in just his second season as the head coach at Alabama. This team has to go to the college football playoff. Like, that is bare minimum. Now, I'm going to put them inching towards the Final Four here as if that's a ladder or a timeline, because I really think they probably need to win a game in the college football playoff, but they absolutely have to go to the college football playoff. Ryan Grubb being back for them as their offensive coordinator, I think, is huge. And it's not back for Alabama, it's back for Kalen DeBoer. This is a program that is used to being the pinnacle of the sport. We've never, ever seen what Nick Saban was able to do. He was the best coach in the history of the sport. They had a sustained level of success that we're never going to see again, winning national championships over cycles of recruits, but they're right on the back of that. They went out and hired Kalen DeBoer, who we all think is a very good coach and the right hire for them, but he has to prove it by at least getting back to the college football playoff. Again, I think that they probably need to win a game, and we'll see if they're able to do that. Getting Ryan Grubb back, attached to Kalen DeBoer, like he has been 8 years previous across different stops, is a big part of this. And I think that they're going that direction. And do I think they'll win a game in the college football playoff? You'll have to wait and see my bracket prediction episode that's coming up later in August. Let's move on to Michigan. Oh, what do we do with Michigan? Okay. Last year was clearly a bump in the road. Nobody cared because they just came off an undefeated 15-0 season in which they won the national championship. So Michigan fans were flying high. They were flying high. But in year two under Sharon Moore, maybe not the urgency that there is at Alabama trying to replicate what Nick Saban was able to do, but this fan base is used to being at the top echelon at the elite level of college football. You cannot be an elite program and not be in the mix for the college football playoff. So this is not a team that can go, 7-5 or 8-4 and feel like that's a successful year. They've got to be in the mix. In the mix. If they're in the mix, I think people will look at them and say, okay, we've got something going. It's a young quarterback in Bryce Underwood. We continue with a young coach in Sharon Moore. Obviously dealing with all the issues that he's having to deal with, the self-imposed suspension. We'll see what happens outside of that. They were 8-5 a year ago. They need to take a step forward. If they win 9 games and they're 9-3 before the bowl game, obviously, they'll be in the mix. If they're 10-2, I think they'll go. And again, bracket prediction time, we'll see where I actually have them at the end. Last year is going to be quickly forgotten if Sharon Moore can get them right back into the mix, right back into the double-digit win category. Everyone's going to be like, yeah, we're good. We are good. That 15-0 national championship season is going to go a long way. Plus, it's not like they went out and got their doors blown off by Ohio State. No. This is a program that just beat Ohio State for the 4th straight time. They beat Alabama in the bowl game. So they've got a lot going for them. Let's just say, I think Moore has more going for him than even DeBoer does at Alabama. Like, DeBoer has more to prove. Sharon was there as the play caller for the national championship. He was the head coach of the team that now beat Ohio State 2 years straight because he was the interim coach for the Ohio State game in their championship year. So, like, he's got more equity with that fan base. So they need to be in the mix. I think that would be a successful season for them, right back in there in kind of that top 10 style of play. Now, what do we do with their rival, the Ohio State Buckeyes? It's very simple, and I've talked to Ryan Day about this a lot. You have to win every game, which means that they should be all the way at the end. But let's be honest here. After finally getting over that hump and winning the national championship and now having to replace 14 guys that were drafted, don't we feel like it would be a really successful season in Columbus if they went to the Final Four? That's kind of how I feel. I don't know if they have to go to the championship game. Now, Ryan Day will disagree with me, and everybody at Ohio State would probably disagree with me because he would say, no, you're required to win every game as the head coach of the Buckeyes. And that's fine, that's fair. But I think this is more honest. I think a successful year would be getting back to the Final Four, playing for a Big Ten title. Like it would show that they're not going anywhere, that they're going to be in the mix every single year. And once they get their quarterback some more reps, some more experience, they get a little bit more experience on that roster. You would have Smith coming back. You would have Saban coming back if he's your quarterback. Like you'd have a lot going for the next season in which you could make a run at another title. So I don't think they've got to win it again. I don't think they have to play for it again. I think they need to go to the Final Four. Probably have to play for the Big Ten championship. And then, oh yeah, by the way, you got to beat Michigan. Right? Like 4 in a row. Got to beat Michigan. I'll be honest, like I've watched last year's game back and I'm like, did that really happen? The pressure's going to be on, this time in Ann Arbor. Successful season would be beating Michigan, playing for a Big Ten title, and going to the Final Four. If those 3 things happen, I think Ohio State fans will be happy. What about Texas? Back-to-back semifinal appearances for the Texas Longhorns. Sarkisian has come in. We no longer have to ask, like, is Texas back? Yes, they're back. In a lot of ways, like, I think that they're the best team in the SEC. That's how I had them in my top 25. We'll see where I have them going in my bracket prediction. But the fact that they've been to the semi in back-to-back years means they can't end there again, and they can't end somewhere earlier than that. They've got to go play for the title. They've got to go play for the title. Arch Mania. I mean, when Arch Manning committed to Texas, this was the goal. This was the expectation in a lot of ways. And not only do they have Arch, but they have a defense that could be the best in college football. They've got stars all over that defense, Sark has a team that can win a national championship. So they've got to play for it. 2 straight years, a loss to Michael Penix in Washington. Last year, a loss to Ohio State. Listen, those are 2 really good teams, and they played well in those games. In fact, a lot of people, myself included, think that they acquitted themselves better than I thought they would against Ohio State a year ago. They did really well against Jeremiah Smith, and it was just Travion Henderson, that little screen pass before half that kind of broke their back. They've got to get over that hump. They've got to go and they've got to play for the national title. It would be their first title game appearance since Colt McCoy went and played that Alabama team back in, what was that, 08, 09, right there? Thank you for watching the Joel Klatt Show YouTube channel. And if you liked this clip, make sure to like it and subscribe to the channel, and you can stay up to date on all of my college football coverage.